this. Okay, now you should see. Okay, I should appear now. Welcome everybody to a tutorial with Rex Red, and this is a tutorial for Cakewalk, and I'm going to show you how to take a loop. In this case, it's going to be from AudioBlocks, and how to take that loop and bring it into Cakewalk and line it up with Cakewalk's beat so that you can make a song with it. Okay, so Tanya, I can hear you in there, so I'm going to let you go. You can chat with me in the chat room. Okay, see where it says chat? All right, so I'll talk with you in a little bit. If you have any questions, ask me in the chat, okay? All righty, I'll talk with you in a little bit. Alrighty, see ya. All right, okay. So, the first thing you do, welcome Tanya, welcome to the chat, to this tutorial. Okay, now if you look on my desktop up in the top right-hand corner, okay, you're going to see I have the lyrics that I've written for this. I wrote the lyrics previously, okay, the words for this song. But up in here, you will notice that I have a, this is a wave that I've downloaded. It's a .wav file that I downloaded from audioblocks.com, okay? Now, I want to use this wave. Now, if I play this wave, let's see if we get audio. If you can hear this. And I am not hearing this, so let's insert add. Audio input capture. And this may be on audio 1. No, it's on audio 2. No, on VAI 3. Okay. I think I can hear that now. All right. Okay. So, excuse me. So now you should be able to hear this song that I've chosen. Now, this is called The Old Days. All right, so what we're going to do is now I'm going to open up Cakewalk. Did you hear that, Tanya? Did you hear that song playing in the media player? Okay, so now we're going to I'm going to start a new project, okay? Now, when this project starts, it says, up here it says 96 and 24, okay? Now, I'll show you another way to start a project. I'm going to close this down, and where it usually comes up with this thing, you close this out, all right? And you go File, New, okay? And then when this pops up, instead, you can pick the bit depth, okay, and the sample rate. Now, usually, okay, you pick like 44 or 48, but I have a really fast computer, so I picked 96, and so it makes but 44 is fine. It's like CD quality. 48 is like DVD quality, and 24-bit is like CD and DVD quality. 24-bit is like studio quality, okay, that like studios send stuff back and forth with, and 32-bit. So, but 16-bit at 44 is fine. It's going to sound, it's not going to sound like a telephone or anything. It's going to sound really, really good, okay? And your tempo, you might as well just leave that at 22, and your meter at 4/4. So, but this 24-bit, it's okay to go 16, and 44, okay? And your computer will probably handle 48 fine, okay? But you can go 44, and I'm going to go 24 and 96, okay? Your computer may not handle that very well. So, and the name of this is going to be called Love Always, and I'm going to call this 2 because I already have one that I've worked on. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So we've got 24-bit, 96, and 4/4 timing, and 120 tempo. Now I'm going to bring this down a little bit, okay? And I'm going to push this over here, and I'm going to click on this little tab here to make some more room in here so I can show you. And I'm going to take this file here, and I'm going to drag it, but I'm going to drop it about 1 measure in, okay? And it's converting the track, and there it is, okay? So now when I play it in Cakewalk, you should hear this. No, we're not getting any audio, so okay, I have to find out why. And it's probably because okay, this is got to be main, I think. Let's see. Oop, we have a problem here. All right. Now, can you hear that music? You should be able to hear that now. Okay. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that, because I dragged this right to the second measure, okay? So at the beginning, it has a little bit of time to start before the music. So it doesn't just start immediately. Because if you're downloading stuff off the internet, you'll find out that it won't download immediately, and sometimes it cuts off the beginning of your song. So you want to take and have a little bit of time before the song starts. But if you'll notice now, these little measure things up top, notice how they, like the first one starts at 2, but then the next one starts a little after 3, and then the next one starts a little after 4, and even further and further until you get down here, and it's like all the way almost up to 8. Okay, so it's not lining up with Cakewalk's tempo, okay, which is, this is the default tempo, is 120 beats per minute. Okay, so if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, so let's turn on the metronome here. We click here and turn on the metronome. We're going to turn it on during playback, okay? So now, so each tick with 1, 2, 3, 4 is a beat, okay? 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 120 of them a minute. Now if I go down to 60, then they're going to go real slow, okay? And this going. Now I can go here and turn the metronome up a little bit more. Now see where I click custom here and click all, then it shows me the thing for the metronome, and I can turn that up a little bit. So now the beats, now there's 60 a minute, okay? So there's 60 a minute, and this is 120 a minute. So it's twice as fast. That's double time, okay? So then, all right, so, but if you notice that 120 isn't lining up, so what I've got to do is I've got to keep changing this. So let's go 110, and then when I go 110, oop, that's 1,000, okay, 110, watch what happens. See, this becomes closer to this 3. You see? So what if I try, say, 108? All right, 108. Well, it's closer, but it's still, now when I see these little buttons down here, this minus and plus down in the bottom, this allows me to zoom in, okay, a little bit on that. And when I click on the plus, it zooms. When I click on the minus, it zooms out. All right, that zooms in horizontally. This zooms in vertically. Okay, these little clicks here, they zoom in vertically, okay? So as you can see that 108 is not lining up with the second beat. So if I say, what do you say? Well, what about 107? Well, that's still not there, okay? Well, what about 106? All right, and still not there, okay? So let's go 105. And boom. All right, there you go. So now look what happens here. Now you want to go down here and double check and make sure that it's still correct, because it could be like 105.50 or something, but it looks like it's going to line right up all the way to the end. You have to check all the way to the end of your song and make sure it still lines up, okay? And look, it's lining up perfect. All these beats, it may not line up in the middle, but it's got to line up on the beat, okay? All right, and they're all lining up perfect, okay? All the way to the end. So this file, they played it to a metronome and they did a good job. See, when we zoom in, it's right there at the beginning. So, okay, so we're going to zoom out again. Now when we click and play it, it plays to the... Can you hear the metronome now? The metronome is the click, 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 click. That's the metronome. The metronome is down here, and this is how you access the metronome. Is you click here and you click on this little looks like a tent or a flag or something. I'm not sure what that landmark events. You click on that, and then you click on metronome. And you can set the metronome. You don't usually have to touch any of this stuff. The metronome, as long as you click on it for playback and recording, then when you click play, you'll hear the metronome. And you see the metronome is down. And see, when usually, like this is closed up and you don't know it's here, but you put your mouse here and you drag that up. And there's your master track and there's your metronome. And so I can set the volume for the metronome, and I can set the volume for the master, and if you double click, it'll bring it back to 0. Okay, so I can set the volume for the metronome and and here's where you set the volume for your track. You have to make sure you have this selected at all, and you have to drag this bottom part up, okay, and that will show you the metronome that's there. And once you put your drum beat in, you can delete this metronome track. You can shut the metronome off. You come here and you just shut the metronome off for playback. You don't want it playing in your song. So then once you click that, then hit play, the metronome's gone. All right, and you can use your regular drum beat. Okay, yours is down. You have to click your mouse on the bottom here, on this bottom. See where I have my mouse? And it turns into that double thing, and drag it up. Okay? And that's where it is, okay? That's where you drag up the metronome. All right, it's on this bottom thing. And you drag that up, and you'll see the metronome in the preview. I don't know what the preview is for. It's just another bus that you can delete. But you can send things to it. And you can, but everything by default is sent to the master, and even the metronome is sent to the master, and probably the preview is also sent to the master. So they're all sent to the master, and the master, if you see where it's out, is sent to your sound card, stereo to your sound card. Okay, so all right. So now that we have this lined up, and now I'm going to save this file here. Now I'm going to show you what happens. What if you get a file and it doesn't line up. No matter what you do, you try 105 and they're too short, and you try 106 and they're too long. You try 104 and it's too short and it comes in too long. Well, you can say, 105.50, all right? Or you can say 105.15, all right? You can get really precise with this so that it lines up. But what if you do this and you get really precise and you find out that they're still not lining up, okay? We know this is 105. This one lines up, okay? Okay, at 105, all right? But some of them are not, where they didn't play them to a metronome. You zoom your track down at the bottom. See these little teeny buttons? It says zoom out, horizontal, zoom out. So that's how you zoom out, okay? And is these little buttons, these little icons, they look like magnifying glasses. You click on them and it will zoom in the track and zoom out the track. Okay? So, and then to zoom vertical, okay, is these ones here, okay? So, and you can just, and if you just hold it, it'll make it as small as possible. And if you hold it, it'll zoom them out. Or you can click it one at a time. Okay, so what if they don't line up because they didn't play the song to a metronome, okay? What if they didn't play your song to a metronome? Then what you need to do is you need to click on the mouse wheel, okay? Get on top of this track here, okay? The track that you're working on, and click once on the mouse wheel, and this little box will appear, okay? And you have to click on that, and then you have to click on audio transients, okay? And all of a sudden, it'll take a moment, and it'll make all these little lines. It'll do all this stuff, okay? And this is where it gets kind of hard. But you have to get it, this tempo, as close as you can to it, okay? So it looks like it's roughly, so the metronome and this sound like it's roughly this where you want, like a 105 or 100 or 70 or 120, or you have to get the metronome close so that it looks like it's close to the beats. So this, when this lines up, it looks like the beats are close enough, okay? But what happens is, all right, so then Cakewalk looks in at this file and it says, and it finds these transient spots, okay? And it finds where the most pressure is at the beginning of the beat. But if you'll notice, like some of these metronome, some of these spots, there's just like two here, there's one there that you know you don't need because that's in the middle of a piano part. You're not going to want to line that up or stretch that. So there's too many of them. So what you do is you right-click on one of these bars. You right-click on it, and you go to AudioSnap palette, and where it says threshold here, you I'm hoping this is going to work here. I always have to fidget with this. I always have to mess with this, okay? Enable, okay, filter. It's not working. Oh, there we go. I don't know what I just did, but suddenly it started working. Notice how a bunch of them just disappeared? Well, that's what you want. You want them like all of them. It's okay if all of them disappear, okay? But what you'll notice is now that there's still little teeny tiny dots here, okay? I mean, little lines there, okay? All right, so this is a tedious process. This takes a long time. But you right-click on that little teeny line, and you click promote, okay? And what happens, all right, click on this, click on disable, not promote. Click on, not promote. Click on disable, which, believe it or not, it enables it. It's just the opposite. And you click on disable, because these are the parts you're going to want to line up. And sometimes you can just, like, do this. Like, instead of this, you can go, and you can take a whole section, and say, okay, I want to line just this whole section up. So I'm going to say disable here, and then I'm going to drag this here, and see how it stretches that so that it fits the beats, okay? Which actually I just stretched it so it doesn't fit the beats. But now, and I'm going to turn my metronome back on. So on for playback. Oh, very good. 154. That sounds really fast. Like you could cut that in half maybe. If it's a very fast song, you may be able to cut that in half. 154 would be 50, 177. I think 177 is 154 cut in half. I think 177. I think. Let's see. Let's open up our calculator. 154 divided by 2. Yeah, is 77. So you could possibly. Yeah, you still have to look for the little parts where the beat sticks out, okay? Because it will usually peak up out of the song, and you'll see the bass drum or the snare drum peak up out of the song, and so then you'll be able to see the beats, okay? Yep, it's, believe it or not, that sounds difficult, but you have to look at the wave, and you have to have them beat so that they peak out of the song. All right. So now, if I disable this, it'll go back. Now, now that I have this lined up, and they're lined up enough where I'm not going to adjust all these because they don't need to be that perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to file, and I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to go back, because now once you put this on, this audio, this thing where I clicked here, where I went to audio transients, okay, and it should be able to find the drum beat out of the song. Okay, it knows this. Cakewalk is smart. When you use this audio transient thing, it's smart enough to know you're looking for drum beats, okay? You're looking for the beginning of each beat. Now, it's going to be wrong in a few spots, and that's why you have to shut some of them off. You have to disable some of them, or enable, I guess, some of them, or disable some. I'm not sure. I'm confused, okay? But that's why you have to disable some of them. All right, so because it's not perfectly smart, but it's going to, look how well it did. It found every beat, okay, here. And even in these parts, okay, where the music is, it still found them, okay? Watch, see this? See that? There's one right there, one right there. There's piano playing, but it still found the beats. Because it knows it's looking for a tempo that's kind of consistent. And even if this tempo isn't consistent, it will find them inconsistently. It will find those places where the drum beats and where the piano hits and where everything lands, where the pressure of the beat lands in the music, and it will find them, and it will be close. Now there's a lot you can do here. All right, you right click on it and you click disable, and it appears, which seems the opposite of what I would think. Okay, but you have this snap thing. Okay, up here, up in this area, it's called snap. Now, when I turn that off and I move this around, it lets me move it wherever I want. Okay, but if I turn it on, it will snap to the beat. it'll snap. See how it's snapping? It'll snap to the various beats, okay? And if I turn, and that's snapping to 0, because I just moved it to that 0 spot, the first beat of that measure. All right, so now if I click this drop down, I can have it snap to the whole note. I can have it snap to a half note, to a quarter note, to a 16th, to an 8th, 16th, 32nd, and 64. Now, most of these I'm going to want to snap to the quarter note, okay? So when I open this one, I'm going to want this one to snap. Oh, I have snap off, I guess. What's up with that? I think what I have to... Oh, snap is off. Yeah, okay. So now what I have to do here is now go into this snap thing. And it says AudioSnap. No, not snap. It's there's another snap. Snap to grid. And believe it or not, just this little bit down lets you kind of put it wherever you want. You move that up the rest of the way and click OK. And it will snap. Snap. See, it's snapping, and it's not going to let me change that. So now I'm going to click this to 16th note, and now it's going to let me snap it to the smaller areas, okay? And so when you zoom in, you can see that, or zoom out, okay, that here is, so I'm going to undo this and disable that. Now, this is a whole, okay, this is the beginning of the measure, because it's 1, and then it's 2, and then there's 3, and there's 4, so that's the end of the measure. So the only places where these things are landing on the beat is going to be on the first measure, and the second beat, and the third beat is going to land there, but the fourth beat, it comes in early, so you watch. And see, and so it doesn't land back on the beat again until it gets to here. So these things are in somewhere in the middle beats, like on those little 8ths and 16ths, and they're not on the quarters. So you have to set this to 16ths in order to snap things to them. So, all right, so that's... And now I'm going to tell you another thing, that when you have to click on the bottom part of this, and that will help you move it, okay? That helps you stretch it. But if it's not at the beginning, like notice this one's not quite at the beginning of the note, and there's a reason why, is because it's kind of like, this is really the beginning of the heaviest pressure, and this is like a little kind of sound that's before the beat. But sometimes Cakewalk gets it wrong and says, and it's really not at the beginning, where it's the beginning of the piano part. Piano hit is here. So I don't want to stretch it, see, because when I go here, I stretch it, okay? That stretches it or shrinks it, okay? That's when you click. But if you click in the middle here, see there's a little diamond there in the middle? Then it allows you, and you turn this snap off, okay, because it'll snap. It'll try to snap way to the 16th note. Then you can move it to the beginning of that. Then you turn snap back on, and you snap it back in. And that will... See, so this is a way to really fine-tune things. And this is part... Yes, well, this part, you're going to have to watch this video. I'm showing you how to use this. You have to watch it. This is the way you learn, is you watch it over and over and over and over and over and over again until you learn it. Okay? I'm showing you how to use this, okay? And it's going to go over your head. But you have to watch it over and over and over again until you learn it. So this snap up here turns snap on and off. And these beats, this is your beats up here. This measures, okay? And inside of here, there are quarter notes and 16th notes and 8th notes. And you can snap. You can see this thing is jumping from between the measurements of 16ths. And you know you got to snap it to the beat. There's beat 1, there's beat 2, and you can so really, as long as you get the major stuff, like there's little, like that you don't have to, like, notice over here. There's this Cakewalk has found 2 places here where it thinks you might want to snap stuff, okay? And this one is here. Well, you're not going to want to snap that, but you might want to snap that to the beat, okay? You might want to snap that to the beat. You're going to want to snap this to the beat, okay? See, so that, and this is only if your song doesn't line up. If the music was not played to a metronome, where the band sat and listened to a tick, 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 and where they were listening to that tick, and they played precisely to that beat. But if they just played to their own beat, and they speed up a little bit here, and they slow down a little bit. Humans aren't perfect, and that's why we listen to metronomes, because metronomes, they're not perfect, like atomically perfect, but they're close to perfect. They're better. They're more precise than a human. They're going to be right precise because they have a very fine clock inside of them, like a digital clock, and it can tell microseconds. So a metronome, and so when you speed it up or slow it down, it's going to be precise. So this, you only need to use this, and this is this audio transients part, okay? You click on the middle mouse wheel, and you click on this audio transients, and you click on audio transients, and it finds all the beats for you. And then you stretch them and shrink them until they line up, okay? Until they line up to the beat, okay? Until you have them all lined up so that when you play, it's not, the beat isn't like, here's the metronome and here's that piano coming in. You have to get your tempo close enough to it so it lines up. And there's going to be a lot of songs. There are a ton of songs on AudioBlocks. And they'll say, oh, this song is like 76 beats per minute. But it's not. It's really 78. They don't get it right. And most of the time they don't. Not only that, but then they'll say, oh, it's 76. But it's really not that many beats per minute because it wasn't played to a metronome. And so it's speeding up and slowing down as the musicians feel like speeding it up and slowing it down. And so in order to put other instruments and other things to it and line your voice up to it and all of that, you've got to make sure the music is lined up to the beat. And so this thing, this audio transient thing, it comes in Cakewalk. There was a time when Cakewalk didn't have this, okay? And there was no way to stretch the music, okay? You just couldn't stretch it, okay? You couldn't stretch parts so they fit. You just had to, you just couldn't use them that way. You'd had to chop them up or whatever and cut pieces out or whatever. But now Cakewalk comes with this, and you click on the middle mouse wheel, you drop it down, and you go audio transients, and it will put them on there. Now, don't accidentally do that to a track, because there's no way to undo audio transients. Once it's started to do these audio transients, you can't get rid of them. The only way to get rid of them is to close Cakewalk and open an earlier save. And you always save Cakewalk every time. Just about every time you save it, you want to give it a new name every once in a while so you can go back to that point. So if you have a customer who says, well, I like that version, and I hope, what did you do with it? And it's like, oh, I saved it over with the newer version. No, you always save a bunch of versions as you go along. So all right, now like I said, most waves that you get from AudioBlocks, you're going to go there and they're going to say it's like 110 beats per minute. You drop it into Cakewalk, you set this to 110 up here, and you set this to the beginning of the beat where you got a little bit of time where there's nothing there, and it starts to play. And it lines up perfectly, and you don't have to do any stretching. You don't have to do anything. You're ready to sing to it. You're ready to chop it up. You're ready to do all your stuff. This is just in case it doesn't work, okay? This is just in case that doesn't work. Like you go in and you drop it in, and it doesn't line up to the beats, where you can see each like bass drum or the piano coming in on each one, and they're not lining up. It's like, see, this is lined up. This is measure 1 2 3 4, measure 3 2 3 4, measure 4 2 3 4, measure 5 2. There's 4 beats per measure, 4 4. Okay, so they're lining up. Okay. So if they don't line up, you have to tweak this tempo until those beats line up. And you can tell if it's lining up by your metronome, by having your metronome play 3 4 1 3 2 3 4. See, so boom, 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 4 1 2 3 4 1 2. So I was lucky with this one. I didn't have to do any stretching. Okay, all I had to do was come in, drop it in, line it up to the second measure because I wanted a space at the beginning, and mess with this tempo until all of a sudden I hit 105, and bingo, it was all ready. Okay, it lined right up. I don't have to do anything. It's all I have to do. So I didn't have to go into this audio transients and do any stretching or anything. But for many AudioBlocks songs, I have had to stretch them to fit them in, and I just want to use them. Okay. So I could go on and talk a lot more about this, okay? But you right-click on this. When you right-click on these little things, there's the AudioSnap palette. And that snap palette will make these things appear and disappear. I don't think I can make them reappear now because I've edited them, okay? And once you've edited them, it usually says... it usually says that you lose all of your applies to clips. Okay, it's not allowing resolution all. Okay, so but there's just these are things. Okay, but this is what you do: you disable them, and then you drag this part until it snaps to the beat. And sometimes you can take a song, and you can just snap like the middle of the song to a beat, and all of a sudden everything lines up. It's just gotten a little bit slower as they played, or something like that. But most of the time when they haven't played to a metronome, you have to line each one up. You have to go here to each one, and you have to line it up and drag it into place, and go and do it all the way through, all the way to the end. Okay? Now, once you're all done lining all of these up to the beat, okay, so that they're perfectly lined up, and when you play it, it just sounds, and you can tell if you've messed up because a certain note is going to be a little early, it's going to be a little bit late, it's going to sound weird, it's just not lined up, and then you got to go back in, and it's like, oh, I had one off by a little bit, it was down here, and it's just not going to sound right. See, it's not going to sound right, okay? So you say, oh, I got to go put that back put that in here. It's got to go right there. All right, and then you got to go back in and fix it until they're all right. Okay, so that's how this, okay, now, once you're all done with this, there's more, okay? We're not done yet, okay? So once you're all done lining them all up, then you have to render the track down. So you go back to here, you click on your middle mouse wheel again, and you click on this drop down and go to clips, okay? And you have, and all of, they're not gone, okay? They're still there, okay? Then you have to right click on the track and it says bounce to clips, okay? Right click on the track and bounce to clips, because it's like it's in memory sort of thing. It's like, it's not been like flattened out or rendered into that. It's not been rendered yet, okay? You have to render it down because it's not gonna sound very nice. It's gonna sound like certain parts are squished and certain things. It sounds a little bit like it's underwater, okay? When you move and dicker and move all these sections apart, okay? It's not ready. It's doing it in real time, okay? It's and you need to render them down, okay? And so you right click and you go bounce to clips, okay? And just let it render them down. It's going to take a while. Notice your progress meter up here is going across, and it's going to flatten them all out. And it's going, you have to do that, okay? And so you want to save the file before you do this. So you can always go back and say, oh, there's one that's off, and I want to go in and fix it. Well, you can go back and load up that, and then fix it, and then delete this, and paste it from another Cakewalk instance, and paste the new version in, okay? So, before you render this down, before you put this audio transients on, before you do that and do audio transients, you need to save it with the new name. And then once you're done adjusting all of these, okay, then you want to go back to clips, and before you render it down, so you have all your audio transients open and in that spot, then you save it with a new name then, okay? And that is so that you can go back to it, because there's no way you can go back once you render this down and bounce. It's called bounce to clips. Once you bounce it to clips, there's no way to go back to and edit and tweak one of those things. So you have to, so if you have it saved in an earlier version, you can go back, open it, say, no, it's not this one, it's not that one, it's not this one. Oh, there it is. There's the one where I had all of those audio transients open. Okay? And then you can tweak that one that's out of place and fix it, and then go back and bounce that to clips and bring that that new wave into here and replace it with this one. Replace this one. Okay? Now, I'm sorry that was very complicated, but if you want to know this stuff, then you have to learn this, okay? Now, there's one other way to do this, okay? And I've done it both ways, okay? Where you can open all this music part up in Melodyne, okay? And both ways work, okay? And you can line these waves up in Melodyne also. Melodyne does not come with Cakewalk. This audio transient thing, that does, okay? That comes with, it's always going to be here. When you click on the wave, and this is not only for just like songs from AudioBlocks, anything that you need to stretch and make it a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, this is how you do it. And you can, or you want to line it up to the beat and stretch it or whatever, You can do that here. Okay, that's and that's built into Cakewalk, and it works very well. I have used this many, 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 many times. Okay, so this is this audio transients is built into Cakewalk, and you all have it, and it's something you can use. Okay, so now I'm going to close this down. And I'm not going to save it, okay, because I didn't need to use audio transients. And like I said, once you put audio transients on, you can't take it off again, okay? Once you invoke that and draw all those lines onto it, you can't turn it off. So you have to, you have to render it down to get rid of it, or you open up an earlier file before you put audio transient. Now when I go clips, don't accidentally put audio transients on, because you're stuck with it on, okay? And then you have to render your file down. That's called resampling your file. And every time you resample your file, you lose a little bit of detail, okay? So you don't you only want to do this audio transients once. And you want to do it the first time, and you want to save it before you put audio transients on. Then adjust your audio transients, save it again with a new name, and then render it, bounce it to clips, right click, and bounce it to clips, and then save it again, okay, with the new name. All right, so you can always go back to before you put these on, to when you had the audio transients all done, okay, and you're just about ready to render the clips, and then save it also when you are going to, once it's been rendered to clips, save it with the new name, save Cakewalk, your Cakewalk project with a new name then, okay? That's what you got to do. All right, but now if your track lines right up perfectly, if it lines up perfectly, then you don't need to do this. You don't need to do audio transients. It just, like this one, at 205, it lines. Let's turn on my metronome during playback. Metronome during playback. That's why it's not playing. Rewind. Okay. Now, metronome during playback. All right. All right, so it lines right up. At 105, it lines up, and I don't need to stretch anything. Okay, I can break this into sections now. I can break this into sections, and I don't need to worry about them not lining up on the measurements in Cakewalk, okay? On the measures. There's 4 beats per measure, okay? And each beat is the same amount, okay? So it's 4 beats per measure. And you notice not everything, like this one doesn't... Those come in the middle of the beats. They don't come on the beats. Not everything comes on a beat. See, so... and so you can line those things up too. They're instead of quarter notes, they come in on the 8th note. Okay? All right. So, all right. Now we're going to move on. All right. To the next phase. Okay? Once you have everything lined up, you're going to want to break this all up into sections. Okay? So sections that you can copy and paste and make into your own, so it fits your words, okay? Now, usually by this time, once I get this lined up, or sometimes before I even bring a song into Cakewalk, I will start writing the words, okay? I'll just listen to this, and okay? And in fact, before I even found this song on AudioBlocks, I already knew the title of the song. I I was sitting here in my studio and I said, I'd like to write a song called Love Always. Because sometimes I sign my letters that way. Not a lot, but I sign my letters with all kinds of stuff. Sincerely and best to you and all kinds of stuff. But sometimes I sign my blogs and messages to people, Love Always. And so I thought, okay, I want to write a song called Love Always. And so I knew the name of the song, but I didn't know any of the lines, okay? And so I went to my AudioBlocks folder, all the AudioBlocks loops, songs that I've downloaded, and I went there and I found this piece that I thought would be really pretty for a song called Love Always. And so then and so as I started to listen to this song, all of a sudden the words popped in my head. And so I ended up with these words. Okay, and they're over on this monitor. Let's drag them over, okay? I ended up with these words. Love always, love is true. So I'm listening to that music there. And I'm going to bring this over here and make this smaller. Oh. No, that's not what I want. Okay. All right, I'm going to bring this way over like this. All right, a little more. And I'm going to drag this over here. Okay. Now I'm going to open Cakewalk. And I'm going to do this number. And I'm going to drag Cakewalk over a little bit here. Up a little bit here, down a little bit here, and now I can see Cakewalk and my words at the same time on the same monitor. I have two monitors, so usually I put this over on the other monitor, but I actually have three monitors hooked to the same computer, so I put that on the other monitor and I just look over and there's the words, okay? But when I'm singing it, I usually put them here because they're right in front of me and I can watch Cakewalk while I'm watching the words, and so know where I am in the song. All right, so as I started playing this, all of a sudden the first line that popped in my head was "Love is true." And then I thought, well, what am I going to say? Love is true and love is blue. I thought, well, what? But I said, no, I don't want to say love is blue. So I said, I love you instead. Okay, so love is true. Just a minute. I have to pause my mic. Nobody on there. Okay. So, all right. So I just started writing the song. Okay. So it's pretty self-explanatory. I just wrote all of these words. Okay. And I figured they were going to fit in this song. Okay. And so, but the thing is this song is only 2 minutes and 35 seconds. And I need a 3-minute song, which means I've got to take pieces out of this and glue them all together like a puzzle to make it longer. I want an instrumental section. I want other parts in the song, okay? So that's why we lined it up to the beats, okay? This is why we lined it up to the beats, okay? So we can take these sections and I can put snap on. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to create a new, right-click in this blank spot right here, right in that spot, and say Insert Audio. And there's other ways to do it, okay? But I think you can add up here and add a track, add audio track, or okay. So, but that's how I do it. I just right click here and insert audio track. Okay, there's lots of ways to do the same stuff, but that's how I do it. Okay, and I've always done it that way. So this add audio track was just added to it, and you could also insert audio track. There's a way up there to do it up there. All right, but I just added a track. Now you listen to your track and you notice when things change. Okay, and it's usually for a 4/4 time song, it's usually after 4 measures. And remember, each one of these is a measure with 4 beats in it, okay? Each one of these is a measure with 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. So each one is a measure with 4 beats in it. Well, you're going to have to break up this song in either 4 measure piece sections or 8 measure sections. Okay, now I was lucky and I was able to break this up. Now the way you do that, okay, is you click on your mouse wheel, all right, and see this thing that looks like a wrench. Well, you click on that and drag down, and you get to this thing called split. All right, click on it. Let off when you get on the split. So again, you click on your mouse wheel and click on that wrench icon and then click split. All right? And then you get this scissor icon. All right? And see this when you listen to this for 8 beats, you'll notice that it gets it plays pretty much the same section. Like, now watch, here's a change though. The piano comes in. All right, so it's playing the same thing, but it's that thing but a little different. And it does that for 8 measures. Okay? All right, now it's going to change again. Now the piano's not doing dun dun dun, it's doing these like little, it's doing other things. So this tells me that this section is like one section that's together. All right? And then as I go 8 beats over, 8 measures over, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's my 8th measure. Boom. That's the beginning of another section. All right. Now I could cut these in half, you know, but I could cut this right in half, you know, but it's really all one section. It all belongs together. So then I go 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And right here, this is the beginning of another section. And you see, the reason why I can cut them so perfectly is because it's lined up with these measures. This is why I can cut them, because each section is lined up to the beats. I can cut it here, I can cut it there, I can cut it here, because they're lined up. And I'd have to cut them by eye, and everything would be off. And then when I try to play to it, I'd have to play to it out of time, with it speeding up and slowing down and speeding up. And that's why you have to line it up, okay, to the beat. Because putting other stuff, and you'll never get it right. You'll go to come in, and you'll be late, you'll be early, you'll be, for each beat, because it's not lined up to a basic beat that goes 1, 2, 3, 4, where each beat is the exact same amount of time. All right, so that's why we lined it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this is 8, another 8. So let's make sure we did it right. Yeah, that's the beginning of another group of 8 measures. Okay? there's the beginning of another one. So we're going to cut it there. See, in this snap right here, I have it snapped on quarter. I can actually snap that to whole notes now because I'm chopping these at the beginning of 8 beats. So this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, here's the beginning of another one. So let's bring our time. All right, so I'm breaking this now up into phrases of music, okay? Choruses, verse sections, chorus sections, okay? All right? Now that's the beginning again of another one. All right, so I'm going to split it there. All right, and then this goes all the way out. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right here is the end. Okay, so this is where now I'll play this whole section and you can see this. So this is just, you tack on ending, okay? This is the tack on. It's not, doesn't have 8 sections, okay? Now, what I can do with this other track is I can say, okay, now I click on your middle mouse button, and I'm going to click this star thing that's at the beginning, okay? And if I hold down the control key, I can I can drag and copy that. See, I copied that. If I hold down the control key, I can drag and copy that. And say, maybe I want, okay, this there, then I want this here. Then I want to drag and copy this piece of music here. And I want to drag this piece of music over here. And I can now arrange these pieces because they were captured on the loop. They'll go right into the other music. And I want this one here. And then I want this whole section here. Up here. And right to the end. Okay? And I can rearrange these pieces into my whole song and say, well, actually I want to do that, but then I want to go and I want to get this section here and I want to bring that here. Oh, let's move this way over. Let's move that down there for now. I want to take this section here and I want to put that there and drag that there. Now I'm holding the control key and dragging that section and it copies it. If I hold control, it copies it and drops it wherever I want it. Hold the control key and drag it. Okay, then I take this piece and say that's my end. So I can go like that. See how nice that is? Now, all right, I'm going to mute this first audio track, this one. And now when I play this, it's going to play and jump through all those little sections that I've organized into a whole song. And I just threw them together, but see, because they're lined up to the beat. They're stretched. They're in the right place. They're lining up to the metronome. And some songs are going to line up as soon as you put, figure out the beats per minute. And most of the songs, they say what beats per minute are. A lot of them work. You just put that in and there it is. It lines right up. And then you're ready to chop and split the pieces up and arrange them the way you want them. Now, but okay, it's like, but I don't know how I want them. Okay, this is where you could say, well, this is a song, but maybe it doesn't line up with these words. Maybe it's like, well, maybe I want, instead of that piece there, I want, what? I must have copied it twice there. Okay. Instead of that piece there, I think I did something wrong here. We've got two pieces of music there. All right. Instead of that piece there, I want this here. And then I want this piece. And I don't think I did that right. No. Okay, I've got to go and zoom in a little bit here. Find out. Okay, this has got to go there, actually. And then this goes here. And now I can bring that. Say maybe I would rather have this piece here. But I just don't know, because I don't know what words, where the words go. And so we're going to get rid of this, okay? And now we're going to really have to put some hard thought into this, okay? I'm going to unmute this. This is the original song here, okay? This is what we got originally from there, okay? And this is untouched. All we did was put these little chops, which you can't hear them, okay? But we put these chops after 8-beat, okay? So we have to figure out, okay, we have to listen to it and say, okay, this is a really quiet part, okay? So it's going to start out quiet like this. Okay, so I definitely want the song to start out quiet like that. So I'm going to put that there. But maybe on the, okay, so, but, and then when this next part comes in, this is where I'm going to start singing. You have to say, this is where, okay, I'm going to mute this. All right, see, I'm going to let it play. All right, and this is going to be the introduction music. Some songs you start singing immediately. Then you're going to put your words up here immediately. But I'm going to let this play till there. All right? And now I'm going to start singing, Love is True. Okay? But I need music for it. So do I want to play this music again? And say, Love is true. So it's going to go, Love is true. I love you. Our love stays. Love always. Or do I want, say, to snazz it up a little bit and have the piano come in when I start singing? And go, love is true. Love is you. I love you. Our love stays. Love always. All right. Or do I want to start it out like with a little bit of piano at the beginning and say, okay, start it out like that. All right, and then have it get quiet when I start singing. Love is true. I love you. You see, you have to decide. All right, you have to decide what you want. All right, but once you've decided, then you come here and you right-click up top here. And you start adding your vocal markers, okay? So I'm going to right-click up here, and I'm going to insert a marker, and I'm going to put these words, love is true. Copy. Control-C, copy. Control-V to paste. All right, then it's very hard to see up in here, Cakewalk, and there's not much they've done to change that. So you go, love is true. Right? Then I stop it here where I want the next words to go, and I go, I love you, copy, right click up here where that is, insert marker, V, paste, Control V, paste, and I love you, and you put the words where you want them, so you know, okay, I love stays. copy, V, our love stays, love always. All right. So, and hopefully you know that the melody, how the melody goes. You've just written it. You're making it up as you're going along. I don't know how I'm going to sing this really. I'm just saying that. I might sing it that way. I don't know. I might go, love is true, I love you, our love stays, love always. I could do it all kinds of ways, but you're the one making this stuff up, all right? So I go this, so love always. All right, now it's like, what's going to be the next music? Well, I might want to pick, say, this music. I don't want it to be quiet like that. I want it to build a little bit. Oop, we don't want to do that. Edit, undo. I want to hold the control key and drag it up. Okay, so now I'm going to go, love always. And then it goes, then in your heart. So I click up here, and I'm going to go, okay, in your heart, V, in your heart is where I start. Okay, so I know I'm going to want that. Okay, I didn't want to do that. Why did Microsoft take away undo? Okay, I have another. If you don't put your lyrics in, all right. This is. I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic audio on. That darn phone call just screwed up my tape, but up my thing. So this is where. This is where you put your song in. This is where you do. This is where I put all of these pieces together. So this is another version of the song, and so I put these pieces in, and now I have a drum beat here. Okay, in this section. Okay, you've heard the drum beat. You've heard this pretty much. Now you have to put your vocals in. You have to put these markers in with your vocals. You have to say, okay, here is where I'm going to start singing, okay? This is where I'm going to start putting my vocals in, okay? And so and if you don't put your markers in with your words, with your lyrics, you're not going to know where you are when you're building the song. You're going to say, am I in the chorus? So this is why you put these markers up top. This is why you put these markers here. So you know where you are. You know that this is where that line goes. Love is true, I love you. So you're going to know where you are. So when you get here, you're going to say, okay, this is the end. Okay, this is where I say love always. All right, and then the instrumental part, okay? I'll know I'm there. So I go up here and I put a marker in there and I go instrumental. All right? There's where I put that's where the instrumental starts. The instrumental plays for 16 measures, okay? It does this kind of quiet part here. And then it comes in a little bit more with the piano, with the other piano chords, and it goes in through that. All right, and then it's going to start. Then I know that this is where I start singing again. This is where my lyrics come in again, because these markers are up here. So I can say, oh, I need this piece of music, and I need that piece of music, and this piece, because this is where I am. I need the chorus music here. Okay, so this is why you put your markers there. Okay, and now in the next videos, I'm going to show you how to add your vocals, how to add drums, how to add a bass track, how to add a pad track. These may be things that you know how to do already, but I'm going to show you them as best I can. So, all right, very good. That is going to conclude this tutorial. And so I hope you have enjoyed this, and thank you for checking in and watching it. And if you want to learn how to take these like AudioBlocks type loops, you can find them on other sites too. They're like whole songs with choruses and sections. You have to add more to it. Usually they're missing stuff. This is just a piano and this is just a piano. This is it. That's all that's here is piano chords and somebody playing a piano. That's it. There's no other instruments. You got to have more than just a piano in a song. Not always, but most of the time a song has more than just a piano. So you're going to need a bass guitar. You're going to need drums. You're going to need vocals. You're going to need pads. You're going to need organs and other synths and maybe some brass in here and maybe some other instruments. Maybe some strings. You're going to need other instruments, but this is how you take a loop and you chop it up you in Cakewalk and make a long section out of it. So all right, I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to save this track and hope I'm going to go back and find out what kind of disaster I've made here because my mic cut out. So this is the tutorial on how to take a song loop and figure out your tempo, chop it up, stretch it if you have to, make it fit to the beat, then chop it up, and then take those sections and build your song with it. Okay? This is I don't really think that there is a tutorial on all of YouTube that explains this. So here it is, and I hope this is helpful. If it is helpful, I need your support. Please subscribe to my channel. Please leave a nice comment if this has helped you out in any way. And I will make more tutorials. I will go back over this information until you learn it. And I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be on my channel and this is in 4K. We are streaming this in 4K. That's why I'm just rambling on. It seems like I don't this is not a tutorial. This is actually, I am working on this song. It is going to be a song, and so I'm actually letting you observe me work, okay? But I made a point of going back and showing you how I got this far in this song. And this is what I'm going to be doing, is basically live streaming me working in the studio. And I'm going to explain things that I do as I go along, when I add a new instrument and why I'm adding that, what my thoughts are on it, all of this. If you want to learn this way by seeing somebody actually work in a studio on a song, in creating a song, that's what this is, okay? And I don't think there's going to be a channel in all of YouTube that does this either. So I'm letting you all know all of my trade secrets and what I do and how I do these things. Why? Because I have gone on YouTube and I've seen a lot of really tremendous tutorials that have taught me not everything I know. A lot of this stuff I learned before YouTube even existed, as before even Google. I have been doing this since MS-DOS. So yes, since Cakewalk for MS-DOS. So not all these things, because some of these features were developed later in this program. Cakewalk has evolved quite a bit since then. When all MS-DOS had was the Cakewalk for MS-DOS just only had MIDI. So, but this is to help you guys take those song files from like sites like AudioBlocks and chop them up and make them into longer songs and stretch them if you need to, and chop them up and put them in. If you really want to learn this process, you're going to have to watch this video over and over and over and over and over and over again until it starts to make sense. Okay? And that's how you got to learn things. That's how I learn things. And I have done that many times in my life. Listen to way back years teachings on cassette tapes and all kinds of things to get stuff in my head, and you have to listen to it over and over and over until all of a sudden you understand. It's like it makes sense. It starts to make sense. So that's what this is. So thank you for tuning in for my live chat. Thanks to Tanya M. Henderson for coming in and listening to this tutorial. I think she's gone because I think she would have. She's still in the tutorial, but I don't think she's listening because she would have told me that my audio wasn't working anymore if she was here. So, all right. So at this point, this is my first live video. We are streaming on YouTube in 4K, and it seems to be doing it breathlessly beautifully. So and this video has been streaming for, we have been live for an hour and a half. So it's taken me an hour and a half to stream this video. So I hope the audio is okay. I hope you could hear things. I'm still getting things set up, but I am going to be back because I make music all the time, and when I do it, I'm going to be showing people what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, what things, how I do stuff. Okay, and a lot of these stuff, these veterans are going to say, well, I'm not learning anything from this. I know all this stuff. But there are people out there that don't know any of this stuff, and they're all grasping and trying to learn to do this on their own, and I'm going to explain it. I'm going to go into depth while I'm doing stuff and try to help you understand how to do this stuff. And I think I have gone into quite a bit of depth here on how to do this stuff. So I've gone into unnecessarily out of my way to explain how to do this so you can do it, so that if you find out your file doesn't line up to the beat, what you do to fix that. Okay? And so, all right, and I may make a video on showing how to stretch audio in Melodyne also, for those of you who have invested the $800 to purchase Melodyne. You can do some of this stretching stuff and chopping and copying and pasting sections in Melodyne, and there are advantages to both different ways. Okay, and neither way is always the best. So all right, I am out of here. I'm going to open up OBS and I am going to sign off for now. This is our tutorial on fitting AudioBlocks wave files, song files into Cakewalk, and I hope this has been helpful. All right, have a lovely day or evening or whatever time it is in the world, and leave a comment, subscribe, and you will learn more stuff. Alrighty, bye-bye.